Good morning, Coach. We'll begin
Morning.
with Mike Kliss of 9 News. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, Sean, from your perspective, what would you attribute the turnaround in your defense from where it was a year ago, and specifically your thoughts on Vance Joseph and the job he's done?
Look, Vance has done a great job. He and his staff, they were hard to point to one thing relative to personnel because obviously there's been a number of personnel changes. I think we've gotten stronger in the front. And then I would say we're better in the secondary. And I would say that in a lot of areas. I mean, we're getting really good play, obviously, from Turtan and then Moss on the other side. We're getting good safety play. We're stronger in the front. And so I think there's probably anytime you have a turnaround maybe that we've seen to date, there's probably a number of factors.
Parker Gabriel, the Denver Post.
Hey, Sean, after looking at the tape, what did you make of the way that Forsythe and Parrott played, and how do you feel about the depth there if you need either or both of those guys, starting going forward?
Yeah, listen, they both played well, and we'll see how the week unfolds relative to our own guys. But, man, I'm glad we have that kind of depth and experience, and certainly Matt's got more experience than Alex, but it's kind of a little bit of the nature of our business, and guys stepped up and right away filled in and did the job.
Andrew Mason, the Fan.
Hey, Sean, what did the film review of Bo Nix in the passing game reveal when you examined it last night and this morning?
Yeah, look, he played well. Used his feet, went through his progressions, threw the ball well. Got it down the field, took the underneath throws, handled the 2-minute again. That's happened a number of times now where we've been able to get some points at the end of the half. Had good command of what we were doing, and I was pleased.
Eric Dalala, DenverBroncos.com.
The coach at 3 of 4 in the red zone yesterday, I think 6 of 9 over the last 3 games. What's working well down there for this offense when you look at the tape?
Yeah, I think yesterday, did you have 3 of 4?
Yes.
Yeah, so we counted 3 of 3 because we don't count the kneel downs. But no, look, we still got to improve on our third down numbers. I was pleased that we took advantage of the turnovers in the field position. Again, it's an area we're spending a lot of time on, and we got to continue to do that in the third down.
Zach Stevens, DNVR.
Hey, Coach, you said you were pleased with Bo Nix, and after watching the film of this past game, but then over the past few weeks as well, what areas do you want to see him continue to improve on, and which areas do you think there's the most room for him to improve?
Yeah, well, I think it's a broad-based question just because he's young, and there's a number of things. We watched the tape this morning, and we just talked about there might be 4 plays he's looking at. He's like, I wish I could have done this. And so I think overall, he's understanding the game better and better relative to the amount of personnel groupings, for instance, that he sees defensively. That we're in nickel, they're in base, then they're in penny, then they're in nickel, and how that impacts protections is much different than when the player's in college and he might go the whole game where he sees dime defense and maybe a few change-ups. So he's doing a real good job with his protections and understanding where he's short. But I think, he's playing with confidence, and every week his feet, make some plays for us that are important. And then I keep getting back to, I think there were 2 sacks yesterday, but he's hard to sack, and when he plays, you're not on the cusp of a minus play. He's got real good command of what he's doing. And I've said this before, I'll say it again, we got to keep painting a better picture around him.
Darren McKee, altitude.
Coach, on the Ferris Bueller moment, what does it say that he's not afraid to speak up? Do you like that quality and that characteristic?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All good. All good. It's the heat of the moment. It's the game. It's competitive. He's fiery. And look, we're in the business of passion. We're looking for passion, and we're looking for people who have passion for the game, not other things. And I think that it's so important to him. And so, I loved his response, and shoot, we're on to the next play, and just, it's nothing.
Cody Rourke, Mile High Sports.
Yeah, Coach, obviously the run game in the first half, the last couple of weeks, hasn't gotten off to a great start, but in the second half, it seems to get going there. Is there a trend specifically as to why it's opening up a little bit more in the second half that you guys can build on?
Well, I think I said it yesterday. You have to have snaps, and then you have to convert third downs. So it's being better on third down to afford yourself the drives and to afford yourself more plays, time of possession. But and we'll continue to work on that. But I think that has a big part, because if you just look at it, you said, all right, well, how many handoffs did we have in the first half? How many plays did we have in the first half? And then more importantly, what were our third down numbers in the first half? I think there's a correlation there.
Ryan McFadden, the Denver Post.
Hey, Coach, you in the past, you spoke highly of Raleigh Moss in terms of his speed and athleticism. But when you look at the tape and look what he's done so far, is there anything that's caught you by surprise, or is there something that you think he does better than what you expected?
Well, one of the tough things sometimes in drafting a player out of college is you see him in maybe a couple schemes. And so with Riley, they played a lot of quarters at Iowa, and they played it well. And they're well coached on defense. And then they'd mix in some other coverages. So then you're projecting, all right, when they get to this level, how will they be in man? How will they be in these other coverages maybe? And I would say this training camp, we saw it all camp, so it wasn't really a surprise. And his ability to stay in phase, man to man, and then he's got really good speed and really good length. And so, and then factor that in with makeup and competes. So to answer your question, you never quite know, right? In other words, you don't know how that's going to translate into other coverages at our level. And fortunately for us, it's translated very well.
Coach, that appears to be all the questions we have today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.